Hey folks, it's Friday. We made it. Hope you all got some great plans for the weekend and that you're gonna get out and do some fun things and get out in the woods. It's an awesome place to be. And the weather's turning, so pretty soon if you want to get out in the woods, you're gonna need some snowshoes. Anyhow, I did a little horse trade a bit ago, and the end I received came in today. So I thought we'd do a video. And it's a fixed blade. So that works out great because this is Fixed Blade Friday. So I won't mention who I did the horse trade with because I don't know if the gentleman wants that out there or not. But I know he was quite happy with what he got. So, and it was wasn't a direct horse trade. It was there was some maneuvering anyway. Nothing illegal. So anyway, my end of it came in today, and it is a Benchmade Leuku. It's a fixed blade kind of bushcraft knife, and that worked out well because I was kind of looking for something new in a bushcraft knife. So I'm pleased with it. I'm digging it so far, and we'll get inside in a minute and get a closer look at it. But I just wanted to do a little look here so you can see it on the hip. So give me a moment to adjust this down a bit. Hey, there we go. So there it is. Let's get a little better angle. So there it is. Sits on the hip nice. Nice leather sheath. A little ferro rod. And here's the knife. So I just wanted to come outside for a minute because we don't have too many of these kind of days left. So let's sit inside and have a look-see. Are you hard at it doing dog stuff? Deep involved in dog stuff? Or are you just charging for the next? Oh, there we go. Somebody to say hi to. Okay, folks, we're inside now for a closer look. So here we have it. You can see your Benchmade logo on the sheath. So it comes with a black leather sheath. Now, full disclosure, while I was waiting for this to arrive, I did do some reading and watched a few videos just because I was curious about the knife. And one complaint a few people had was they weren't too keen on the sheath. I don't see any major issues with it. It looks good to me. It's a leather sheath, made fairly thick. Got a drainage hole. Stitching looks decent. I mean, it's not like super uniform, but you've got 3 rivets here and 1 here for added strength. Looks good on that side. You have a leather belt loop that is integrated, like it's a loop around, so it's not a separate piece. It does have a little clasp at the top here, and I believe it originally comes with a snap around dangler. So you could hang it and it will move freely. Now, when I got this, I immediately put it on my hip and went for a drive in the Jeep. Sits well for me. You've got maybe an inch and a half above your belt. Was not an issue for me. Laid nice against the seat. Now, if you had a little bit extra around the middle, maybe that would be a problem for you. It might poke into your side a bit. So the dangler would probably be a benefit in that case. Has an integrated ferro rod holder that is stitched in good and snug. The knife is not slipping out, and the ferro rod is in there secure. Even if you did bump it, I mean, you've got a lot of travel there, so you're very unlikely to lose that. Comes with a whistle, and look at that happy face, and a little button compass, which does appear to work well. A lot of button compasses are kind of junky, but This one is reactive. So this takes a second. So that's kind of neat. The sheath does have plastic liner, you see here. Gives the sheath the ability to hold its shape and also prevents your knife from cutting your stitching. And drainage hole, so you're all good there. So no complaints about the sheath. I mean, it's not to the caliber of, say, like a buck 119 sheath or something like that, but it's certainly a good sheath, I think. On to the knife. So some of the specs I pulled on it says that the overall length is 9.69 inches. So I would say that is fairly close to accurate. It says it has a 5¼ inch blade. Maybe just a little bit shy of that. And 5.19 inch cutting surface. Now I get just shy of 5 inches. The blade width or height is 1 inch. And actually a little better than that. And your blade thickness is 0.14 inches. Your steel is CPM 3V steel. And from what I know about 3PM CV is it is manufactured in the United States and it is a very tough steel. So that's a bonus. One negative to it is that it has not superior edge retention, not that some of your more premium steels would have. It is non-stainless, so your blade will patina and without proper care will potentially rust. Now, I don't know if the gentleman I did the trade with put an edge on it or if this is the factory edge, but the edge looks very even and well done across the length. And it is certainly quite sharp. So no complaints about that. Either it's a very good factory edge or the gentleman is a heck of a knife sharpener. So it is a flat grind with a drop point, and I like the taper of the drop. If you're doing something like batoning, you certainly don't want an upswept tip because you could potentially snap that off. But you also don't want too aggressive of a taper because then your baton can deflect off the edge. So that's pretty ideal as far as the taper for me. And it's a satin finish blade. And that's about all they have for the specs on the blade. So I'm quite happy with the blade. It's a good length. It's good and stout. You got a good, it just tapers right towards the tip. So it should be a good strong blade. And yeah, I'm happy with that. The handle material is Santoprene. The length of the handle is 4.5 inches. Pretty bang on. Your handle width is 1.25 inches. I'd say we're pretty close to that. And your handle thickness is 0.8 inches. At its widest point, that's right about where we're at. So the Santoprene, it basically feels like rubber. So it's not a hard plastic. There's some give to it. It has good traction. Will probably be very good in wet conditions or cold conditions. And as you can see, there are no seams. Now, I did watch a video where a gentleman actually sliced this away. It took him quite a while, but he eventually got it all off because he wanted to know if it was a full tang. It is indeed a full tang all the way. It has one big hole right about here, one big hole right about here. And they're about maybe a big. And the material, the santoprene, passed through there as one piece. And he had to cut that away to get the scales off or the cover off. So that makes me think it's probably injection molded. As far as fit in the hand, I have a medium-sized hand. I wear a medium to large glove, depending on the manufacturer. And I have a little bit extra at the end. I'm even clear of the lanyard hole. Height-wise, it feels good. I would prefer a little bit more in here. It doesn't quite fill my hand. Now, if I had a glove on, it would feel totally different. But it could have been just a little thicker through here for my liking. But maybe I've just got a deep palm, who knows. But overall, feels good in the hand. Now, one other issue I saw people raise that might be a concern, where this is not stainless steel. As I said, it will patina and will rust if you don't properly care for it. Some folks were concerned that it is not sealed in this area here, and potentially water could get in there where you couldn't access it and cause your tang to rust. Now, I don't think that should be a huge issue. You could certainly seal that. I mean, you could just take a little bit of pine resin and force it into there, and eventually it will dry. And you're out in the woods anyways. Why not use the resources that are at hand? So I don't think that would be a huge issue. And you could certainly probably even squeeze a little bit of oil or work a little bit of oil down into there. So not something I am desperately concerned about. But if that were ever an issue, or I felt the comfort just wasn't exactly what I want it to be, I've seen what's underneath from that gentleman peeling these off. So I know I could rehandle it. Make something a little thicker, or make something so that I get a good seal here, or both, obviously. So not something I'm concerned about either way. Another complaint I saw people raise was that they felt the spine was too rounded and wasn't aggressive enough for a ferro rod. It's not raining a fireworks of sparks, but I'm certainly getting a good spark from it. And always remember to clean that stuff off your blade. So that, I mean, can be remedied just by grinding a small section here flatter. Now, this is 3V CPM 3V steel, so it's a tougher steel, so that may take some work. Maybe a lot of time and effort involved in that, but it can certainly be done if need be. So potentially, if I'm not satisfied with it in time, that may be something I will do. Or just someday if I'm really bored. So anyway, this is just an initial impressions right now. I certainly will be taking it out into the field, hopefully this weekend if the weather permits, and putting it through some tests and getting a better feel for it. If you'd like some comparisons, here it is against a Mora bushcraft. So it's a tad bit longer than the Mora and certainly has much more blade than the Mora. And here it is against the smaller Light My Fire Mora. And again, significantly shorter, significantly smaller blade, and certainly not nearly as deep of a blade. And here it is against a buck 119. I just show you these different ones because I don't know what everybody has out there. So your buck 119s, maybe 3/4 of an inch longer, and maybe a 1/2 inch longer on the blade. And since we're doing it, why not? There it is against the buck 110. So a full inch or better longer than the buck 110, and 1.5 inches or better on the blade. So anyway, folks, that will be it for today. I should mention that Leuku, or Leuku. I watched every video I watched, nobody seemed to know how to pronounce it. But it is based on a traditional Scandinavian design. From what I understand, the actual traditional Leuku had a significantly longer blade. But, I mean, it is loosely based on that design. So, I am quite happy with it, and I'm quite excited to get out in the field and do some testing. Hopefully the weather permits, and I will do that this weekend. And hopefully the weather is excellent wherever you are this weekend, and you can get out, spend some time with some important folks in your life, and try and get out in the woods. Get out there, listen to the wind blow through the trees, listen to the birds, maybe see some critters out there. Just make sure, if you have dangerous critters in your area, like a grizzly bear or something like that, you go prepared, because sometimes the animals just don't want to share with us. But for the most part, I'm out in the woods all the time. The scariest thing I have to worry about is black bears, and 99% of the time they see me and run. Not because I'm particularly scary, they just don't want to bother with people really all the time. So get out and let the woods wash away some of the stress of your probably long week like mine. Anyway, folks, when you see this knife again, it will be me out in the woods doing some testing, and hopefully you'll tune in for that. And that said, I hope you have an awesome weekend, and we will catch you on the next one. Y'all take care.